Name is Cartoon Network, so you expect to see nothing but animation when you flip CN on your TV.
Well, duh. Wow, I know, shocking, right? A Dr.Gumballin video that isn't a Let's Play or people reading a fanfiction. What's the catch, you may ask? Whoops, it's about the live-action Cartoon Network shows. Whoops. Anyways, do y'all remember when Cartoon Network bizarroed itself and showed the exact opposite of what their namesake promises? Cartoon Network? If not, well, around 2009, Cartoon Network premiered their new line of shows, and they named their line of shows CN Real. During that year, not only did no cartoon shows were premiered that year, but around 5 of the original shows that premiered during 2009, which the new shows were live action, 3 of them got canceled during the same year. So that shows their success, you know, for this block. Before we jump into the mud that is CN Real, we should probably discuss the history of live-action Cartoon Network shows, because before they went full throttle on playing opposite day, they had 2 shows beforehand that were live-action that they made themselves, not counting the ones that they acquired. One of them is Big Bag. Think of it as like Cartoon Network version of Sesame Street, with actors, puppets, and animated shorts. In fact, in one episode, Elmo actually cameoed there, so yeah, you can kind of see the correlation. It was aired around the 90s, and as of now, it's chronicled as a partially lost show on the Lost Media Wiki, because not all the episodes are able to be viewed. Up next was Out of Jimmy's Head, made in 2007. It was based around the movie Reanimated. Think of it as a continuation where it's like, well, Jimmy's in high school. Reanimated is a movie where a kid named Jimmy gets into a train accident, forcing him to undergo brain surgery. And during the brain transplant, he gets a donor's brain that used to belong to a famous cartoonist. So he sees imaginary visions of cartoons that the deceased cartoonist made. So pretty much the premise is, a kid gets run over by a train, suffers schizophrenia the rest of his life. Also, how does that even work? Shouldn't he have the personality of the cartoonist since it's his brain? But then, how does Jimmy still have his personality? Why is like having a new brain just like, hey, I'm Jimmy, but I get cartoon characters appear in reality DLC? This show is on the partially found category. However, as of writing the script, Trudermark, who makes amazing YouTube poops, has found a bunch of VHS tapes that contain episodes of Out of Jimmy's Head, so maybe it'll be possibly found. He's currently trying to convert the VHS tapes, so we'll just see how that turns out. So before the CN Real block, they had 2 live-action shows. However, they both included animated characters, and they're both partially found. It was really a strange coincidence. Alrighty and all tidy, it's time to dive into the mediocre pool of the CN Real shows that were originally made for the channel. Let's go into chronological order of the shows being premiered. First of which being Destroy Build Destroy, a game show where X gets destroyed and then you use the remains of X to build Y for the competition. Yeah, I know, that's like the most basic idea, but it's pretty much what it is. You destroy one thing, they rebuild it, you know, to something else, and then they use it for like a competition, like, oh, I'm hitting targets or something.
This tied it up.
Also, the host is someone named Andrew WK, which he frequently is in the CN Real ads to be like a spokesperson of the line, including the song, "Are you hearing what I said?" By the way, the video that has that, the comments and the ratings are disabled. Up next is Othersiders, a ghost hunter show featuring teens that literally act the same as the grown adults of that show. You know, overreacting about literally everything that goes on. Something notable is on the first episode, around towards the end, they're standing in the hallway and they look back and there's just this chair and they're standing there freaking out. So it's so stupid. You just look at this clip.
On my way back to base, I saw the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Jackie for base camp. Go for base camp.
There's a chair in the hallway and it wasn't there before.
Are you sure it wasn't there before?
I'm positive that it was in the laundry room.
I've seen this chair though before.
It wasn't here. Trust me.
By the way, this show was the only show that I found on the See and Real block. Not just all the live action Cartoon Network shows, but only in the See and Real block that was like totally found. All the episodes you can see on YouTube right now. Which in itself is really crazy considering how there were so many shows they showed on that block, but only one of them you could find all the episodes to. So it shows how bad this block was. Brain Rush was their next show. And it's a show that is honestly, out of all their original shows, is the best out of all of them. It also has a pretty original premise. Basically, contestants are there to answer questions, but they didn't know originally. They go on the roller coaster and it's like, hey, you're on Brain Rush, time to answer some questions, and they have to answer the questions while riding a roller coaster, but if they can answer questions, they can win money. The challenge is that, they're on a roller coaster, they're too busy riding it to actually, focus. It was a simple idea, not really half bad of a show, just kind of wish it wasn't on Cartoon Network, but I wouldn't mind watching a couple. Except I can't really find any full episodes on Cartoon Network. A lot of these live action shows I can't really find on YouTube. They're kind of in grainy, bad quality. Except some of the shows like Level Up and Incredible Crew, you can pay to watch those episodes. I'm not paying to watch those episodes. I don't even want to watch a full episode. We'll get to those later on. Then came along Bobby Says and Dude What Would Happen. They both came out around the same time. Bobby Says is pretty much the America Funniest Home Videos. So, in a sense, except America's Funniest Home Videos is awful, bad, malicious. Bobby Says, is not kind of relaxed, I guess. They're more talking about skaters, by the way. Then Do What Would Happen is pretty much Mythbusters. Both equal in how the fact that the audience gets, they're just like, oh, it's okay, it's a show I'm watching, it's watchable. There are many other shows that are acquired for Seeing Real, such as 10 Count, extreme sports show that I cannot find any info on, aside from the fact that it's an extreme sports show. No clips from YouTube, no nothing. If you look it up, all you're gonna find is top 10 lists of things. So, yeah, the show itself, I can't really find any info on. Hole in a Wall, which is people fit in a hole in a wall. The show was kind of fun to watch about for a minute, but it ran for 2 years on Cartoon Network. Apparently, it was originated from Japan. The people who watched the show, both of the shows said it's better on Japan. Funny anecdote, the show appeared on Total Drama Action before the actual show came on Cartoon Network. I actually looked up the Japanese version of Hole in the Wall and it looks a lot more entertaining than what we got here in the States. Also, another funny note I'd like to add, when you search up Hole in the Wall, the search results you get is Roblox, and there is a lot of Roblox videos that you can find for Hole in the Wall. Then came My Dad's a Pro, which is just like kids talk about their lives, except, oh, my dad's in the pro leagues in the sport. That's it. Re-evolution of sports. The only info I can ever find that existed was... So here's a bit of an edit, an update. When I was searching up 10 Count for the article, the description of the show, I actually looked up Re-evolution of Sports, and there's actually 2 descriptions from 2 different sites, so that's more than I ever got for 10 Count. So here are the descriptions for Re-evolution of Sports. Slam ball, it's basketballs, but trampolines, and the way you score is you slam dunk. That's it. It sounds fun to play, but I wouldn't know if I want to watch a bunch of episodes on a channel I would rather watch Grimm or Ed, Edd n Eddy or Chowder, you know what I mean. And then there's Survivor with teens. Except, well, from the trailer it doesn't seem like they get money. It seems what happens is when you are the champion, when you get on a challenge and you survive for by yourself, and the guy's like, I'll monitor you while you do. and if you do well, you're the champion or survivor. But it's like, it doesn't seem like you get money, so I don't see the huge appeal. I guess that you're on TV, that's it. I don't know.
Whoever can survive to the end will face the ultimate challenge, a solo mission, where I'll expect them to endure, document, and conquer surviving alone, just like I did.
And there's a Thumb Wrestling Federation, a show that has, you know, been around for a while. I remember it being on Nicktoons before it came to Cartoon Network. I was actually surprised it was even on here. Think of it like WWE but with thumbs. Not actual thumb wrestling like, you know, what you did in elementary school. It was a lot more flashier. It even had like little announcers and spokespersons. It was a pretty neat show, I gotta say. I liked it. Then there's Unnatural History, and you know, this show and Tower Prep I haven't seen, but they seem like they're interesting shows, so I wouldn't mind seeing them. Unnatural History is just pretty much a show which revolves around a kid named Henry, you know, the son of Laura Croft and Indiana Jones, and once he goes to high school, he realizes it's quite bizarre. Then there's Run It Back, which is NBA highlights. That's it. I don't know why it showed on Cartoon Network, but yeah, it did. But one of their more better live action shows that they acquired before they, you know, did the whole seeing real, which was Goosebumps. Yeah, man, dude, this show, high quality stuff. I know it's a little corny, but you know what? Dude, I love Goosebumps. I love that intro. Ooh, gets me in a spooky time, especially around Halloween. During this whole live action seeing real thing, live action shows, at least the new ones, mainly appeared on Wednesdays and Saturdays, then just Wednesdays. But the live action shows were still dispersed throughout the week. But they still kept trying to keep the live action thing going, even though a lot of the shows were canceled. Then Tower Prep came along, which is a high school mystery show, similar to Unnatural History. Again, looks good from the trailer. I've actually seen it, so I can't give a opinion of it. Then there's the High Fructose Adventures of Annoying Orange. Yeah. This is Annoying Orange on Cartoon Network, featuring Tobuscus. Then Level Up happened, which is for high schoolers that play World of Warcraft, accidentally let the monsters out from the real world. Think Pixels. I actually saw this, like, at least episode 1. I didn't like it at all. It all ended with Incredible Crew, which went from 2013 to 2014. It was a sketch show. I didn't want to sit through and download all the clips for, you know, their sketches. So here's Finn talking about silly advice.
You buckle in your seat, road trip kung fu. Don't brush your teeth with me. You weren't born in a zoo. And don't forget to wear your jeans when you go to school. And you know what that means. You need to wear shoes.
So it really seemed like they went all out for this block. They just pulled a guerrilla warfare tactic just to hope that people would stick around and so they could play the live action shows. But why would Network even try to put live action shows? It's just about money. According to the Maxwell Adams interview that Rebel Taxi did, he said that once Turner Broadcasting rolled under new management, that honestly they didn't really want much of the old stuff around, and they wanted to just produce these live action shows.
That was right sort of at the end of an era for Cartoon Network where, they changed, their parent company changed management, which was Turner, and that rolled over to Cartoon Network. So new people came in and said, hey, we don't really want to do any of this old stuff, which is, why at the same time, Craig McCracken, myself, pretty much everybody ended up leaving Cartoon Network. And they decided to make live action shows, and that didn't go too well.
Nope. Yeah, they went right. They just came crawling back. It's like, okay, we'll go back to animation. Please watch us, please.
See, live action shows are really cheap to make compared to an animated show because you don't have to, hire people to animate all these frames. You can just be like, here's a video camera, here's people doing stuff, edit it, boom. So it's like, you could save your money and people like the show, more profit, Who better make a lot and make Cartoon Network live action network? But to be honest, as a kid, when I did see all these live action shows, and when I was a kid, and I did what Andrew WK said, give cartoons and real people a shot, even back then, I got pretty bored of watching their live action shows. Honestly, looking back at what happened then and what's happening now, you gotta see that both Seeing Real and Teen Titans Go have tried to fill up the schedule tactic, you know, try to pull up the, hey guys, look at us. Well, at least the era of live action shows on Cartoon Network is over. The evil the evil is defeated, and the channel is back to what it stands for, a network of cartoons.